Hey, this is DJ Mike from Dance Time in Texas, and you're listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KZZW LP Conroe and 106.1 KZCC LP Conroe, and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our show, Conroe Culture News, FM 104.5, 106.1, live streaming on irlonestar.com out of downtown Conroe. It's also on our city TV at cityofconroe.org, so you can catch it anytime and see what's happening. Of course, it's Facebook Live on Conroe Culture News. So welcome to Monday. Guests today are going to be Brandon Polk, and you may have seen him around town because he's been very active. He was running for city council, and who knows, he may do that again. But he's very... He has a lot of awareness in the community. He's involved in a lot of things, and I especially see him a lot through downtown Conroe. He owns Plus 40 Fitness, so we're going to hear from him about Plus 40 Fitness and a special event that they just had. Then in the second half, we're going to hear from Jeredith Jones. She's attorney at law in downtown Conroe, specializing in child protective services and some criminal representation. The show is sponsored by Roger Stein Chiropractic and Team Sinisi Real Estate Group. Roger Stein Chiropractic is located at 3033 West Davis by Conroe High School and Taco Bell. Everybody knows where those two places are for landmarks. And she works with people of all ages and backgrounds, from infants to seniors, athletes to professionals, and focusing on natural, holistic approach to relieving pain and achieving optimal health. Could be a good partner with Plus 40 Fitness. Who knows? Could be. But Stacy Rogers holds certifications in adjusting extremities, clinical nutrition, prenatal, and pediatric care. So any age, even before the baby's born, you can go see Dr. Stacy Rogers at Roger Stein Chiropractic. My other sponsor is Team Sinisi Real Estate Group, and they serve the greater Montgomery County area for buying, selling, or investing in real estate, because, you know, real estate is still hot. Interest rate, I'm not sure what it is right now, but I know it's still at an all-time low. So if you're looking to do either one of those things or even investing, call Team Sinisi, 281-507-9777. Team Sinisi. It's an easy name to remember. So a few things happening around us. Things are, as you know, opened up and getting ready. 4th of July will be here soon. Parades and festivities. And the two theaters are moving forward. The Foreigner is starting this Friday at the Owen Theater through July 10th. The Foreigner is a story. It's actually a comedy. It takes place in a fishing lodge in rural Georgia where two Englishmen arrive as guests, Froggy and Charlie. The shy Charlie agrees to accompany Froggy on the trip after his sick wife begged him to go. Charlie is really shy and quiet, and people think that he can't talk because he's a foreigner, but he's actually just shy. So they start telling him all their gossipy secrets, and they think he can't understand English, which is not true either. So there's a lot of scandals that take place, and it's a fun two-act comedy by American playwright Larry Shue. And after their showing, they will have their annual fundraiser, Always Patsy Cline, which is always a great sellout. So keep that in mind to help the Owen Theater. They were struggling last year because, first of all, they weren't open, and then they were only open at 50%. And these are all volunteers that put on these productions. Coming up July 1st is the First Thursday concert with the music of Garth Brooks by Derek Spence, and that always gets a huge crowd. And come early for the market days that starts at 5 o'clock, and the pre-concert music by the Jazz Connection students. Most of these kids are students at Conroe High School, and if you haven't heard them, you're missing out. It is really, really good. So they will be playing on the grass up above the hill, not where the stage and the amphitheater is, but more where the pavilion is. And as the county is opening up for events, the Conroe Symphony Orchestra is doing their annual patriotic tribute on Saturday, July 3rd at Heritage Park. This is always phenomenal. Of course, we didn't have it last year because we didn't have anything last year, but they played at the Baptist Church Mims the year before that in 2019. And then before that, they played at Heritage Park. Well, they're back at Heritage Park July 3rd, Saturday, July 3rd, for a free concert at 7:30. So bring the family, bring a blanket, sit on the grass, and feel proud to be an American. There's still time to join the Freedom Fest activities in Montgomery. They are 9 to 2, July 3rd. Everyone can participate in the parade in anything but a trailer parade is basically what they are calling themselves. What does that mean? That means you can walk, you can bike, you can ride a golf cart. I guess you could do a horse if you want to do that, or wagons, motorized coolers, anything you want to do, and it's free. It's absolutely free for any individual, family, business to get their name out there or just have fun. Everybody is welcome. In addition to the parade, there's going to be a junior creative art show emphasizing youth hobbies or activities seen at the Montgomery County Fair, similar to that. And it gives the opportunity for young people to display some of the things, whether it's horticulture, things they made, or maybe they baked something, anything like that. So they have 2 age groups. They have up through 12, and then they have 13 to 19-year-old teens will be in different categories. And after they display the stuff, half will go back to the Montgomery Chamber and half goes back to the student. So that's kind of cool, too. So that's also July 3rd. 2 things you can do on that day. And then finally, Tarzan is coming to the Crichton Theater. That will be amazing as well. Please support local businesses, local theater. It helps us all, and we all want to do what we can to bring the economy back. So that starts July 9th and will continue through July 25th. So with that, I have my first guest here, Brandon Polk. He is with Plus 40 Fitness. So welcome, Brandon.
Hey, Margie, how are you doing today?
I am doing wonderful. You know, it's always kind of exciting, hurried, and everything to start on a Monday, but that's why I like to doing my show on Mondays at noon.
You're under the pressure and you get it done. That's great.
That's what you do. That's what we do.
Yes, ma'am.
So, fitness, and I know you ran the stairs up here to get here. Just amazing. I used to be able to do that.
Yeah, so if I have an option where I could take the stairs rather than the elevator, I would like to do that, get a few more steps in or whatever. I tend to try to do that.
Do you track your steps?
Yeah, and then sometimes the doors close, so I have to call and someone has to let me in.
Right,
but I mean,
right. No, I get it.
It happens.
My husband was a fire chief in East County for a while, and we went to Clear Lake, Florida for a chief association convention kind of thing, training for several years. And they had this one event where you go up the 12 flights, up and down and up and down,
right,
for 9/11. And then you ring a bell.
Oh, great.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
and I did
great.
that up and down and up and down.
And how many years ago was that?
It was before Achilles surgery.
Okay.
That's all I can say.
Okay,
and that was 2 years ago. I
Okay.
can't do anything since
Okay.
then. But it was very rewarding because then you ring the bell in honor of someone who died in 9/11, a firefighter.
Oh, that's great.
So we ought to do something like that here. You ought to start it. You know, it could happen, right?
Where's the highest?
We can do the Conroe
Tower. Let's do it.
Let's do that. Let's plan it.
Let's
Okay, let's get back to focus here. Okay, so you have Plus 40 Fitness. Why over 40?
So I feel like in the
You're not over 40.
I'm 35 and I own the place, and but I feel like the people over 40 got lost in the exercise world. You don't see commercials for anyone over 40, a Beachbody commercial or anything like that. And if you go to the bigger gyms, I find they get lost in the shuffle.
That's true. That's a good point.
So at my gym, we just specialize at 40 if you want to come where it's private and feel like it's more of a family than just a number in the gym. And so that's what we offer at my place rather than the big gym.
So it's very unique and people feel comfortable
it's
there.
It's more of a family. I mean, we've had people gone there longer than I've even been the trainer there. So they get familiar.
So did you start it at this fitness, or did you then take it over?
I just took it over from the old owner.
Okay.
And out of college, I went there. They needed a personal trainer, and I fell in love with working with the older community and helping them achieve their fitness goals. So that's what I like about it. So.
Nice. So what kind of background do you have?
The background from the University of Houston, go Cougars.
Woohoo.
Kinesiology and sports and human performance is what my background is in that.
So you have a strong background in that.
And then I did the poli-sci thing for my other stuff. I did that for a little bit. But,
got it.
So yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so you're all about that, and you're very involved in Conroe, like I mentioned. I do believe you are, and I've seen you at a lot of Conroe Chamber events and downtown Conroe events. And
yes, ma'am. Just trying to get
You have a passionate heart.
Passionate heart, just trying to shape like the next 40 years generation for someone that's going to be a part. That's what I would like to do.
You know, it's interesting. I've seen a lot more younger people, your age or younger, in downtown Conroe, because I've been working with downtown Conroe since 2015, and suddenly it's like a thing. It's like a thing for people to go. It's like, where you been? So, but we're getting a lot of businesses down there.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
And the Fern Brewery and
I was just at the
winery,
Frank Jackson's food truck thing the other day.
And that's
I'm excited about
rocking and rolling. I saw the photos of that.
I'm excited about the downtown.
There's a lot of growth and things happening. So tell me exactly where Plus 40 Fitness is located.
So we were at the Transmed Health Center on 336, which is 2510 South Loop 336, right across from Grand Central Station.
Okay.
So it's a big white building, all health minds in that place, and so
medical things and all kinds
family
of stuff.
first, urgent care, back and pain.
So it's a good
center.
place.
Oh, it's a great place for me. Yes, ma'am.
Hopefully they refer your business.
That we're
That's
working
a good
as a team.
too.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you have the background, and how long have you been a personal trainer?
It's got to be 8 or 9 years now.
And you enjoy it?
Yes, ma'am. I like to see different results from different aspects of the fitness world. Yeah.
Well, like I said, you're not only passionate, but you're very sincere.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much for that compliment.
You know, I mean, I believe people would want to follow you and be a part of what you're doing because you say what matters, and you can tell you're not just throwing things out there. You really mean what you say.
Thank you very much. I just come from the heart, and just that's all I got.
Good.
That's all I got.
That's good. So people can go there, and is it a group training, or is it all individual, or how does it work?
So you can either do it individually, or if you have a friend or you and your husband want to come, it's a couples thing or whatever like that. Some people don't want to work out with their husbands, so whatever.
Yeah, I can't see my husband working out.
Okay, well, whatever. So, yeah, just whatever. But we offer the personal training, and it's a 30-minute circuit on air compression equipment, so there's no wear and tear in your joints. So it's pretty much like physical therapy equipment.
So once you learn how to do it, you kind of can go on your own and go through the circuit?
No.
Is that what? Oh,
no,
okay,
ma'am.
okay.
No, ma'am. I monitor
You're
the whole.
there.
I
You're
monitor
there.
the whole thing. I put them on the equipment, and if you progress, and I'm still there.
You
with
motivate.
Yes, ma'am. I motivate, and we've had clients for 5-6 years, and we just
That's
do
wonderful.
the same thing.
That's wonderful. So what's your average age?
Average age 65.
Oh, okay, younger than me.
65 to I had a 93-year-old work out with me for a couple years.
Really?
Yeah. And
That's
they
pretty
just do
amazing.
this-
So even somebody like me with Achilles surgery, who used to be a runner,
Right.
could go there and
Absolutely.
get back in shape.
I just feel like I've seen too many stories where older individuals just sit at home and watch TV as they get older,
yeah.
and
That's horrible.
who be sedentary like that is just awful. So I just want the people to be active so they can play with their kids and their grandkids, and just keep moving, enjoy the body that they have.
Do you offer nutrition advice as well?
I will talk to them about nutrition. Absolutely, yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So you have the equipment, and I noticed that on your website it says it's 30 minutes. Is each time they come in, it's only 30 minutes?
Yes, ma'am. 30 minutes. The study was from the University of Florida, where the program came from. It's going super slow. It's like a super slow, and your muscles will fatigue and burn out. And you'll get the 30-minute work. You'll feel it after 30 minutes.
So you don't have to work out for 2 hours. 30 minutes is pretty much
It's
really
plenty.
all you need.
Absolutely, yes,
and
ma'am.
how often?
Oh, I work twice a week.
That's good enough?
Yeah, twice a week. But I mean, if you want to do more, cost
It's
a little
individual.
bit. But you can really see the results if you stay consistent. I feel if you go on vacation for 3 weeks and then come back,
You got to start over.
Yeah. So just consistency is key in that.
Yeah. Okay. So I noticed that you also have like Zumba, yoga, boot camps, cardio boxing. Tell me about that.
Oh, yes, ma'am. We have yoga class on Monday, Zumba Tuesday, Thursday, and boot camp on Friday.
So they're group things, so then people come in at that
Yeah, for
point.
groups at that point. Yeah. And then also the Peloton cycling bike, we have that, and the mirror, which you've seen on TV, I'm sure.
I don't know. What's the mirror?
It's like a virtual trainer. So
Oh.
so you can do classes on those anytime you want. Just set an appointment with me, and they have every class
Huh.
that we don't even offer.
So you have someone who talks to you while you're doing it?
Absolutely, and you just
Kind of like Siri?
you just mock and do whatever they tell you to. So I mean, it's pretty cool.
Okay. All right. Well, it sounds pretty cool, actually. I need to go in there and check it out. So tell me about your event that you just had.
Also, we had a Transmed Center open house last week, and it was a great crowd, just showcasing the different providers in the building.
Oh, okay. So it was a whole group type
The
of
whole
thing.
group came in together. We had the remote broadcast from the radio station that was there, and it was a great turnout.
Okay. And you're at 2510 South Loop 336. So what's your goal for right now? What would you like to see happen
Well, with
the gym?
everyone's feeling better about getting out, vaccinated or not, whatever. Just people are.
Have you noticed an increase?
Yes, ma'am. We had 6 new clients last month, and I have 6 already this month. New people that I didn't
So that's
know.
good.
So it's starting
People
to.
ready to move.
It's starting to
How
pick
was
up.
it last year?
Last year was
Really bad.
Was the most difficult time.
So you
me.
got to focus on your political campaign.
Right. Yes, ma'am. We were shut down a couple months, and I just
Oh,
moved.
my
To,
gosh.
and then I moved to a brand new building. So I was like, what a great time to move to a new building when we were shut down. So
Wow.
it was a very hard time.
But did you continue with any of your people doing anything outside, maybe?
Well, I will say that I told them I'm gonna work out at this time. If you would like to come join me.
Okay, so you couldn't officially say that.
Yes, ma'am. We couldn't. have
Okay,
it.
I got you. But
So,
you
yes.
kept it going, is all.
So we were.
You were doing some engagement activities.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Okay.
And we have great clients.
Not trying
so
to put you on the spot.
So we had great clients. They would continue to offer to pay me and stuff like that during even the time. So that was great.
See, my challenge is, I mean, I have a treadmill when I first started to walk again because I had to train myself and I didn't know how far I could walk without hurting myself, having
Right.
not walked for 3 months. So I got that, but as soon as I could, I went outside, which was around the shutdown. I said, everybody else is walking, I'm going to go walk.
Right. Right.
So I like being outdoors. I
Okay.
don't like working in a gym. I like walking, riding. Well, can't be running anymore, but anything like that. So how do you handle those kind of things?
So that's fantastic. But like I'm trying to. Most of my clients they like to do the indoor.
they like being the
they
air
like
conditioning.
So they like the air conditioning.
Yeah.
So
Well,
like
it's different. It's strength training too.
right. So
you know?
even when it's on.
So it's
even,
not the cardio necessarily.
Right.
But
they
it could
do,
be.
It could be the Peloton or a
Right.
class or whatever. We just
You gotta do that inside.
We turn the fans on. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
It's fine.
It's chilly when you first get in there, right? Probably.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you work out.
So
and
then
it
we work
feels
out
good.
and it feels good.
Feels
So,
good.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I do need to go check it out. So
We would love to have you there.
what else do we need to know about you, Brandon?
Oh, like I was saying earlier, it's more of a family atmosphere there, and you're not going to get lost in the crowd. We care about each individual's fitness needs, and it's my personal goal to continue to make it the best personal private training studio in the Conroe area.
Are you the only one there, or do you have other staff?
I am the one-man show. I look at other people's
You do
stuff,
it.
and they have a group and a team, and I get jealous sometimes, but then, it's just me. I'm the...
But you like it, so it's okay.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, I love it.
So you teach all the classes too.
So that I have retired from officially.
Oh, okay.
So there's individual instructors for each other thing, but I retired from doing the classes because I feel like it was too much to do.
It is a lot.
To work out 15 people in a day and then
do everything else.
and then set the class up and teach the class as well.
It's
So-
overreach.
Yes, ma'am. So I would let someone else do. So I let.
Okay. Well, very cool. Yeah, I couldn't do the Zumba. How do you say Zumba?
Zumba, yes, ma'am.
Zumba. Yeah, I don't think I could do that. I don't know if I could do boot camp anymore. I used to be that person, but
Well,
can't
just
do it
come
anymore.
try
One
it.
leg. I can't even stand hardly and support on one leg.
So maybe
anymore.
that yoga would be.
I've never even tried yoga.
Yoga's fantastic.
I'm not a bendable person.
I need to get more flexible and do that more. But yeah, it's a great class. It's a great class.
Well, it's very good. Oh, and you have sauna. Sauna? No.
So maybe I need
Fake
to,
sauna.
Let me take this on it's a sauna outside. You need to come indoors, guys. But
okay,
no,
okay.
but the sauna is actually in the Transmed Center with Dr. Jody Caldwell.
Okay, it's in the building.
So she has she has my
So
old
it's a
sauna.
partnership.
Right. So she has it. So
Okay.
you can use that.
So you can go there and
you can go there and check it out.
Okay. All right. So 2510 South Loop 336 in a medical building over there.
Transmed, yes, ma'am.
Yes. And that's like on the side, not where.
Same side as a Silverstone community right there.
Right,
It's across
and
from
Conroe
that pet
Regional
result.
and all
right.
of that.
Yeah, it's right there.
Although it's not called Conroe Regional, it's called HCA now. But we all know
No,
it's
that's where it
Conroe
is.
Regional, so
There it
it's
is.
on that side over there. So it's pretty easy to find. So what other plans do you have? Are you gonna run for city council again, or is that like a quiet thing?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I've
You're very interested in what's going on.
I'm
in
very
Conroe.
interested in the
happenings.
to do it for sure, and a few people have approached me to try it again. So
Okay, well, we're not publicly announcing this. We're just asking.
we're just I'm thinking about
just
it.
throwing
I'm
it out
thinking
there.
about it for sure. So
Okay. So what other personal goals do you have?
we'd like to do another Plus 40 Fitness. I'm looking into
Oh, really?
Woodlands area for that, Magnolia, something like that.
Okay, well, you can talk to me and I'll.
Yeah,
partner you up.
I know you're the person to talk to about that area.
Anything.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, but I'd like to do a franchise of it somewhere else.
Well, like I said, you're very connected into whatever's happening around the community. You're focused on not just downtown, but chamber events, and you get your name out there. So I'm hoping that helps increase your business as well.
I think it's I think it has for sure. And also one more little avenue I'm thinking about approaching is we don't have a good michelada bar downtown Conroe, and
What kind of bar?
micheladas, with you pour the beer into the.
Oh.
So we don't have something like that. So that's another avenue I'm kind of reaching into.
Would 202 Main do that?
I'm sure they would do that, but this is just going to be.
You know Keith, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
I
So,
figured you did.
so this is just something I would like to.
Interesting.
I was talking about the food truck park maybe, or I think
Yeah.
the Sikorsky's are doing something downtown as well.
Sikorsky's,
Yeah, I
yes.
think they're doing something. So
They are doing lots of things.
Yes, they are. So I'm trying to just find the right place to put it, but definitely downtown is where we'd like to.
Well, yeah, they're actually building out on Metcalf as well towards Pacific Yard House.
Right. So maybe that was the spot, and we would do those.
That's the secret spot
So
that
we
we're
would
now
do
sharing.
We're sharing it. So the micheladas and some chips and salsas.
Okay. Well,
That's just another.
that could happen.
That's another.
That could
avenue.
happen
Yes,
as we
ma'am.
are strolling through downtown and going from venue to venue.
Yes, ma'am.
You know?
Something.
So, okay, so finishing up here, wrapping it up. This is Brandon Polk, and his place is Plus 40 Fitness. They're on Facebook. You can put in just Plus 40 Fitness and find it. And he also has a website, Plus 40 Fitness. Of course, if you go to the Facebook page, you can see it. It'll connect you to the website. You can find out all about what he offers, the services, but it's individual attention to people to help them be their best self, health-wise.
Absolutely.
Sounds like to me.
Appreciate what you had before it's gone. That's what I like to say.
Oh, okay.
So-
Well, you could be better than you were.
You could even be more better. You're right.
Absolutely.
And check us out. All of our Google reviews. I think I'm the only 5-star on the whole, the gyms
And he's
in the
sincere,
area.
and he cares.
Yes, ma'am. We're not get you a trainer that cares, and I'm that guy. So.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Brandon.
Thank you very
and
much.
We will be right back. We're going to take a little break and hear from Jeredith Jones.
All righty. Thank you.
Since 2004, Roger Stein Chiropractic has offered spine and joint manipulation services to residents of Montgomery County and surrounding areas. Conditions treated include lower back pain, migraines, headaches, whiplash, carpal tunnel, neck pain, sciatica, joint pain, sports injuries, herniated discs, and complications from pregnancy. Roger Stein Chiropractic, led by Dr. Stacy Rogers and Dr. Brian McGee, is an integrity-verified chiropractic clinic. Call 936-441-9990 for an appointment or visit rogerssteinchiropractic.com. That's RODGERSSTEIN chiropractic.com.
Team Sinisi is a proud sponsor of Conroe Culture News. Vinny Sinisi and his professional team provide comprehensive real estate services throughout the greater Montgomery County area and beyond. Whether looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, Team Sinisi has an impeccable reputation. Contact Team Sinisi for a great experience at teamsinisi.com. That's TEAMSINISI.com.
Second Saturday Divorce Workshop provides unbiased information to help you understand your options and move forward with your life. This divorce workshop is for you if you are contemplating divorce, in the process of divorce, already filed for divorce, or post-divorce. You will explore the emotional, legal, and financial aspects of divorce from professionals who have guided others through divorce. For more information on this divorce workshop, contact secondsaturdaywoodlands.com or call 832-375-0900.
Hello, everyone, and we are back for the second half of our show today, Monday, June 28th. And Brandon Polk is still joining us, and sitting next to him is Jeredith Jones. Jeredith and I have known each other for a little while, and she's an attorney at law in downtown Conroe over by Brownlee Jewelers. She specializes in child protective services cases, and she's very passionate about helping the families, helping the kids. And she wanted to talk to us a little bit about some challenges that families have faced during the lockdown. Is that right, Jeredith?
Yes, it is. And I did also want to mention, now that you bring it up, you actually stood with me when my daughter was baptized, which I appreciate.
Oh, yes. Yes, that was so cool. And we're rounding back over there. I know you kind of stepped away, but we're rounding back in that direction, too.
Good. Good. Yeah, Pastor Chris came and saw me. And that's actually part, not about church, but that's actually part of the services and issues that I see that we're having. I am a family lawyer. I have a private business. It was impacted, like everyone's, by COVID. But I am not a frontline worker. But it did seem during COVID that we were kind of fighting a war that really couldn't be won during COVID, and not exactly getting much help or much
What do you mean by that? Who wasn't getting help or support?
Well, so unfortunately, there's a large population of our community that is at risk. Foster children, women and men in domestic violence situations, children at risk, food insecurity, and even our prison population. All of these populations are at-risk, vulnerable people. And when COVID happened, it exposed a lot of issues that we were all dealing with, but that no one has addressed and is going to be long-term. And so it is frightening to me, being in this field, working with foster children, working with victims of domestic violence, and seeing all of the ways that the pandemic has basically made them more vulnerable and more at risk.
Do you think that's because they've had more anxiety in the house being all together?
Yeah, I think
what?
that's where it starts. Certainly, there's a mental health crisis, also exposed by COVID or made worse by COVID. Financial insecurity, domestic violence go hand in hand. So does child abuse and financial insecurity. When the stress gets high, the person who's in control takes it out on the vulnerable people, the children and the spouse that isn't the one in control. And what we saw happening during COVID was there's a lack of people in the office, in all offices.
That's right, because they didn't go into their work.
Right, so they couldn't go into their work. So when you could normally call a domestic violence shelter or some other place and get some help, that couldn't happen.
Mm-hmm. They weren't taking people in.
Right, and then they've got social distancing, which probably meant less people available to go into a location. The courts were closed for a period of time. Now, fortunately, they rallied, and the Supreme Court issued many orders, just the same as the governor did, to keep the courts open. So at least we had some access to judicial orders and to protective orders. But there are steps before you can get to a protective order that weren't always in place. The police were hesitant to make arrests. things that they could normally arrest for, people weren't getting arrested for because they didn't want extra people at the jail. Situations where somebody might get to sleep it off overnight, maybe that person wasn't arrested because they didn't want to put that person in jail. If they would generally separate two people, a husband and wife that were fighting, they couldn't because of the COVID restrictions. Because where's that other person going to go if they could expose another family or friend to COVID? And so
These are things people just don't think about.
right. And then there are all of the professionals, friends, family, and concerned citizens that see children every day. They're teachers, they're church professionals, gymnastics instructors, Girl Scout leaders, Boy Scout leaders, after school care, counselors. All of these services stopped, just full stop. And these children are in a high stress, high anxiety environment with their abuser, with no one to see them. In addition to that, Child Protective Services had to back off. They had to take a step back, and so did CASA, which is court-appointed special advocates. So court-appointed special advocates started seeing children via Zoom or in the driveway when they could start seeing people in
Which
person.
is very challenging because you're not getting that relationship building.
Right, and you're not seeing the home, so you don't know what the home looks like anymore. The children were no longer having face-to-face contact with teachers, and teachers are a huge source of reporting and noticing child abuse and neglect. And so all of these things are impacting our community, along with Harris County's mandates and changes to their bond restrictions, which has been in the news, which has let murderers out, people who have committed murders. The most infamous one, I think, for the U.S. has been the Tiger guy who was out on bond on murder and had a pet tiger, And so that, who gets out on bond on murder? And all of those things are impacting these children and these women and these men and even inmates, because inmates suffer from mental health issues. They suffer from health problems. They're in a closed environment under high stress, and maybe the only bright spot in their week is seeing their mom or their loved one.
A visitor, yeah.
Right, or that visitor is able to see them and see bruises or whatever. Maybe they're being bullied or hurt, and could raise some kind of alarm or get back, or their lawyers. We didn't have as easy access to the mental health facilities, so that we could not see our clients as easily. I had a client whose child was very sick and had cancer, and there was a huge year-long battle over which parent could be at the hospital, because they could only allow one parent at the hospital at a time. So all of these things create all of this chaos for these vulnerable populations. And unfortunately, the pandemic has exposed it, but in my research, I found out that domestic violence and child abuse also spikes during natural disasters. So following Katrina, there was a lot more violence against women, gender-based violence. And unfortunately, the research I did says that this isn't just situational. The skies don't clear and the domestic violence stops. It continues for years. So it's very concerning. And
how's it affected your practice?
What I see is much more right now is much more serious, much more dangerous, a lot more emergencies, and a lot of people who don't have access to lawyers because of finances. They're just we can
loss of income has not been
loss
in
of
their
income.
favor.
Right, loss of income makes it hard to hire an attorney, and an attorney is the person who's going to best move a case forward.
So what do they do? Just deal with it?
Deal with it. They try to access resources that might or might not be available. Like the domestic violence shelter has some lawyers, but they have caseloads and they have requirements regarding how many clients that they can take. So they are
Busy.
limited.
They're
They're
very
busy and they're limited, and they don't take every client. You know, and legal aid, same thing. You know, they're busy. They have a lot of people per region that need help.
So what's the answer?
Well, unfortunately, I don't have an answer. I'm just trying to identify identify some of these issues and bring awareness awareness to it. I don't have it. I don't have any answers.
I think people just need to know what's going on with these crises, and possibly plan for it. How would you plan for it? Because you say these happen, during hurricanes or any time that there's a natural disaster. Of course, hopefully we won't see another thing like the pandemic, but who knows? But
right.
So how do you plan for that? I don't know. It just kind of happens, doesn't it?
So I think that the way to plan is to recognize that you're in a domestic violence situation and do something about it immediately.
Don't wait.
Access the resources you can.
It's good information.
Make sure that if you begin, make sure you're informed about what a domestic violence relationship looks like, so that you are not financially restrained by someone, so that if you need to leave, that you can do so. And
start charting things. Would you start detailing incidences and things like that?
I mean, my hope is that men and women wouldn't get into these situations where it gets to that level, but you just need to be aware of who you are and who your partner is, and if you see those issues of control and dominance, to be able to make the choice when you do have the finances and when you do have the emotional resources to leave those relationships.
So it's mostly about being aware of the signals of things not going the right way.
Correct.
Things that aren't a healthy relationship.
Yes. So I was talking to a prosecutor earlier today on a case that I have, and she told me that 75 domestic violence homicides increase 75% when someone is leaving their spouse. And I'm talking to that person because I feel like I have a client who's in that category. And it's horrific. I had a client commit suicide this year. I've never had that happen. 10 years in practice. And
that's horrible.
It's horrific. And then you just have to think about, you don't have to, but the impact that these things have on all of us, because now it's not just me and my assistant that are worried about my client, very worried. It's all of the police that are going to come in contact with her. All of, now I've pulled in another prosecutor. So all of these people will now be affected if we can't save her, if we can't protect her. What is the emotional toll on all of these other people who had contact with her and couldn't or didn't do anything? But, we're trying to stand in the way of something bad happening, but we
Do you have any resources that people could go to if they need assistance?
I mean, the domestic violence shelter, the women's shelter, the county attorney's office. I think they do intakes on Tuesdays and Thursdays for protective orders only. If you're going through a divorce, they will not do a protective order, I think. But they have a website. You can make an appointment to get a protective order. That's the first step, to get the court involved in that. And then call an attorney, make an appointment, try to get out, make a plan. There's lots of information out there.
Is there group counseling or anything like that?
So through the women's shelter, they do offer counseling.
So you don't have to be an intake there? You don't have to be living there as a resident?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
That's good information, too.
Yeah.
What do you think, Brandon?
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, and I didn't know that the
There's not a lot of resources like that. So
I mean,
it's limited. It sounds like
there are a lot of resources, but when we have to shut down, I remember during Harvey and feeling like this ominous sense of PTSD when they shut the airports down and feeling like it was 9/11 again. And then again when a month later, that active shooter in Las Vegas, and they had to, obviously had to shut down the airports in Las Vegas. You just feel this ominous sense of doom, and those are just the airports. So think about all of the other things that are shutting down. You can't get food. You can't, like, the domestic violence shelters on lockdown because they're preparing. The police are doing what they can, but they've got all of these other things happening, trying to make sure people are staying off of the streets, trying to save people from driving into standing water. And so the domestic violence calls come in, but, like, there's no place to go. We're standing in water. We're standing in sewage. And how do you
navigate that?
How do you navigate it? And how do you expect any of these resources to do anything other than what they're being told to do by their governors, by the Supreme Court of Texas, by the U.S. government? And so it's, on an individual level, it's nobody's fault. It's the situation, but
it's situational. But if you can get a glimpse of things before they get bad, and use the resources that are available then, and instead of waiting until things get worse and then a crisis happens, whether it's a hurricane or. That is a very good, and I'm glad you're presenting this because it's stuff we don't think about necessarily, and it's planning ahead. Of course, I think the COVID crisis taught us all a lot of different things because that's never happened, and we've never had to plan for a shutdown of this extremity, the whole world shutting down. Mm-hmm. It's kind of overwhelming when you think about it, really. But it's stuff you need to be prepared, especially if it has to do with your family, which is the most important thing, yourself, protecting yourself, the safety of any of those.
The children. And
it's important.
And, like, you have to also remember that for the most part, if there is a person who has a control issue, it's probably, it can be, it's not always, but it can be a mental health issue. And so, like, you're protecting your loved one, even if it's the abuser, you're protecting that abuser ultimately, because if he hurts you really bad or if he kills somebody, he's going to prison or jail or losing his job, and then that's not good for anybody. And so if there is a way to save the entire family, like, you have to think about it like as a kindness. You're protecting yourself, but you're protecting that abuser too. And if that's what you have to think about and that's what you have to tell yourself to get out of that situation, then that's what you need to do. But I also found that, in general, 9 major U.S. cities reported an increase of domestic violence at the beginning of the pandemic based on call volume to 911 from 20 to 30%. China, France, Argentina, and Cyprus all reported an increase in domestic violence of 25 to 30%. Especially China was the Wuhan province where the pandemic started, was an increase of 30%. So this is a global pandemic.
It's not just local. But do you have any numbers on Montgomery County? Any local?
I don't, and I would hesitate to be the one to talk about that because I am not an official or...
Right, but we can understand with what you've presented that it is a escalating problem.
It is an escalating problem, and I believe that Mr. Ligon had put something out early on in the pandemic regarding that, but I don't have any updates.
Sure.
I know that they're trying very hard.
So tell me about the foster care crisis.
We've lost 700 beds so far this year.
Where did they go? What does that mean? Is that locally or Texas?
Texas. For the state of Texas, we've lost 700 beds. So that means that facilities either closed or because of the length of stay or because of social distancing or because they just couldn't financially maintain it, or
Yeah.
because they lost their license.
And that's a lot because as kids are in crisis and this whole problem has escalated, the kids need to be safe. And so now you have this other major problem and nowhere for anybody to go.
Right. There's nowhere, yes. And so a lot of the beds are for teenagers. And so there are teenagers every night spending the night at a Child Protective Services office and the day.
I thought they were close to doing that. I thought I read something last week that said that they weren't doing that anymore.
Oh, well, what I read last week is that it was up from like 10 children last year pre-pandemic to 50 children this year.
Staying in the
currently
CPS offices?
Staying in CPS
I thought
offices
I don't
across
know.
the
I read something that
state.
said they weren't allowed to do that anymore. I don't know.
I mean, they've been sued, but I mean, what are we going to do? And
But it's still not a good thing. And there's nowhere for these kids to go.
No, there's nowhere for these children to go. And they are children, but they're also teenagers. The report
Under
I just
18.
Right.
Right.
The report I just read was that so far this year, 2 children have had sexual encounters with other children, either at a CPS office or at a church, and 1 got a hold of a caseworker's medication and took medication. This is all public information. It's a report. I found the report through one of the news outlets. It is a crisis. It is another crisis. These teenagers are obviously very disturbed, but if anyone has it in their heart to become a foster parent, they are making it a little easier to become a foster parent, which is also concerning in a way. But you can offer even just respite care, which is a weekend. You can offer your home open for a weekend to children.
Do you work with CPS to help people become foster parents?
I don't know.
Okay.
But I work with CPS. I work with parents who are losing or working with the department to try to get their children back. And I work with foster kids and kids that are up for adoption. So I do a lot of that work.
So somebody could call you, though, and get some information.
Yes, we have the information. There's Arrow Project, Lutheran Social Services. You can call the department directly or look on their website. They have services as well. They have services to licensed foster parents.
So, and your website is jjoneslawtexas.com.
jjoneslawtx.com.
That's correct. That was a question. That was trying to.
It was a
catch
test to make
Yeah, it
sure I
was a
wasn't
test.
just
It was a test.
monologuing.
So no, I didn't think you were. But you really care about everybody you work with. I know you do. Kind of like how Brandon does. You have passion in your heart, and especially for the kids, to help them be in a safe environment. And that's kind of truly where your heart's always directed, because of all the different services you offer in family law to help the kids out. Well, and the spouse or whatever. But I know you care about the kids.
I do. I care about all of my clients. We try very hard to make sure people are comfortable while we're navigating them through their life changing through the court processes.
And there's a lot of different things that you can help with. And they can go to your website, or they can Google Jeredith Jones, Conroe, and find you probably pretty easily.
Yes.
I know you're very active, very involved. And aren't you part of also the association out here, the legal association?
Not currently.
Okay.
But
you know the people.
I know.
You know everybody.
I know everybody.
I figured you did. Yeah.
I've been here for a decade. I know.
You know everybody, but I mean, you help with all kinds of different things with family law. And if anybody has a question, whether it's about their parental rights or adoptions or grandparents' rights, even.
Yes.
Or what is now called gray divorce. I know you've been on the show before and talked about gray divorce.
I have.
And that's where people my age get divorced, and that's where the term comes from, right? So
yes.
they've been with a spouse for a long period of time,
Over 10
years.
Over 10 years. Generally, there's large amount of assets, adult children. So there's some I mean, there's some unique aspects to a gray divorce.
But then go on your website and read all those
Yes,
details,
yeah,
because you have
absolutely.
a lot of information out there. But back into it, it's more about families. You're all about really keeping the family intact, if at all possible, in a genuine, caring, safe environment.
Well, I'm a divorce lawyer, so I wouldn't say keeping the
Well-
family intact, but making
wanna
sure
help.
that both parents can coordinate and work together as best
Amicably.
they can,
Possible.
and while keeping the children safe.
Do you do any criminal law?
I will do criminal law upon request, but generally, no one seeks me out for that any longer.
Okay.
I mean, but if somebody in particular, or if it was a lot more domestic violence, because those lines between family law and
That's
criminal,
your specialty.
yeah, and criminal and domestic violence are so close.
So does this go through the County Court of Law too with Claudia Laird, or where does most of the cases go?
Most
And
the
it's
child
just
protective
probation and things.
child protective services courts are in County Court 3, and then family courts are County Court 3 and the District Court 418 and the 410th.
Okay.
That's all family law, and then everybody else is something else.
410th. Is that
Judge
Santini?
Robin,
Oh, okay, Robin.
Judge Robin,
Trying to
Judge
keep
Robin,
them all
Judge
safe.
Gilbert, and now Judge Tucker.
New judge.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, do you either of you have anything else you would like to add? Brandon?
No, I appreciate you having me on the show. And
Yeah.
Plus 40 Fitness.
Plus 40 Fitness at 936-827-2258.
And Jeredith Jones, law, specializing in child protective services, and she's a passionate, caring person.
You're so sweet. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So let's go back to who the sponsors are. I want to give a little shout out to Roger Stein Chiropractic, located at 3033 West Davis by Conroe High School and Taco Bell. And they serve infants to seniors, athletes and professionals with holistic approach to healing and achieving optimal health. And Team Sinisi Real Estate Group for buying, selling, or investing. Team Sinisi, easy name to remember. So I always get confused with that. It just kind of rolls off the tongue. So, and then to recap, 4th of July is open. 4th of July is open this year. I don't know what it was last year, but this year it's open. So there's the Montgomery Chamber Freedom Fest that's happening 9 to 3 out in Montgomery, downtown Montgomery, and they have a parade that starts at 9. The lineup, anybody can enter. You just can't bring a trailer. It's anything but a trailer. You can bring your bikes, your scooters. You can walk. Any business is free. It's absolutely free. And then they have a vendor fair, and then they have a judging for kids that might have learned a new hobby, or horticulture or baking or anything like that, a junior creative art show. And then remember the theaters. Tarzan is coming. Yay for Tarzan at the Crichton Theater soon, July 9th. Conroe Symphony Orchestra is their annual patriotic tribute on Saturday, July 3rd at Heritage Park. Absolutely free, red, white, and blue. Yay, yay, yay. And First Thursday concert with music of Garth Brooks by Derek Spence. And Market Days all on First Thursday concert, July 1st, Heritage Park. So, lot going on. So this, we will put out the YouTube of this a little bit later. So if you missed it, you can share it. Conroe Culture News. I am Margie Taylor, your host.